Have you ever walked into a room and just stopped, frozen in the middle of the floor? Completely blank, with no idea why you're there, or that frantic, frustrating search for your reading glasses, only to find them pushed up on your own head. If you're nodding, I want you to hear this loud and clear: you are not alone. For millions of us, these so-called senior moments are becoming more frequent. It starts as a joke, but deep down, a quiet fear begins to grow. A fear that the fog is getting sicker, that a silent thief is trying to steal your most precious possessions, not your wallet, but your memories, your clarity, your very sense of who you are. This isn't about the silver in your hair or the lines around your smile. This is about the command center of your entire existence. And it can feel like a window is slowly closing, that the clock is ticking on your sharpest thoughts. It's the maddening feeling of a word on the tip of your tongue, a name that vanishes into thin air. It's the quiet panic when you're telling a story and suddenly lose your train of thought. This isn't just forgetfulness, it's a subtle threat to your confidence and your independence. Acknowledging that fear isn't weakness, it is the first, most powerful step toward taking action. But what if I told you that this fog is not inevitable? What if that thief can be stopped? I'm here to tell you, with absolute certainty, that it can. Decades of scientific research have revealed a profound and empowering truth about our minds. For years, we thought the brain was like concrete, that after a certain age, it was set, fixed, and could only decline. We now know that is completely false. The brain is actually more like plastic. It's flexible and adaptable, capable of changing, forming new connections, and even growing stronger throughout our entire lives. Scientists call this incredible ability neuroplasticity. This isn't just a fancy word. It is your secret weapon. It means you are not a helpless passenger watching your mental sharpness fade. You are the pilot with the ability to actively build a clearer, more resilient mind. This isn't wishful thinking or a feel-good mantra. It is a biological fact proven in labs around the world. You have the power to forge new neural pathways. Regardless of your age, over the next 25 minutes, I am going to give you the blueprint. We will walk through 5 simple, science-backed daily habits that will act as your brain's personal anti-aging shield. I want to be crystal clear. These are not complicated lifestyle overhauls. They don't require expensive supplements or strange gadgets. Each strategy is an accessible, powerful tool rooted in peer-reviewed studies that you can begin using today. And to ensure you get the most vital piece of this puzzle, I'm going to save the most surprising habit for last. It's an activity most of us dismiss as just fun or a social pleasantry. Yet, groundbreaking research from world-class institutions like Harvard and Rush University shows it may be the single most powerful defense you have against memory loss. It costs nothing, but its value to your long-term brain health is priceless. You will absolutely want to stick around for that final revelation. So, I ask you, are you ready to stop being a victim of age and start being the architect of your own cognitive health? Are you ready to clear the fog once and for all. Excellent. Let's begin. All right. Let's get to our very first habit. Now, I know what you might be thinking. If I want to keep my brain sharp, I should be doing more crossword puzzles, right? More Sudoku. And for years, that's what we've all been told. But I want you to consider this. Doing a puzzle to improve your brain health without the right nutrition is like hiring the best carpenters to build your dream house, but forgetting to order any wood or bricks. It simply doesn't work. The puzzles are the carpenters, but the food is the raw material. It is the absolute, non-negotiable foundation for everything else. Before we get into the specifics, let me tell you a quick story about a wonderful woman named Brenda, a 72-year-old retired librarian from Cleveland, Ohio. Brenda's mind had always been her sanctuary. But recently, her sanctuary had started to feel foggy. She would forget the names of her longtime neighbors at the grocery store. In the middle of a phone call with her daughter, she'd completely lose her train of thought, leaving an awkward silence hanging in the air. She felt her confidence shattering. The vibrant, sharp woman she had always been was being replaced by someone hesitant and unsure. She confessed to her doctor that she was deeply scared. Her doctor, instead of immediately prescribing a pill, asked her a simple question. Brenda, what have you been eating? Brenda was skeptical. Food. What could her tuna sandwich and evening bowl of ice cream possibly have to do with the fog in her head? But she was desperate. So she listened. The doctor didn't give her a punishing, restrictive diet. Instead, he suggested she focus on a pattern of eating experts call the mind diet, which is simply a way of eating that prioritizes brain protective foods. He asked her to make a few small swaps and additions. She started adding berries to her morning oatmeal, snacking on nuts instead of chips, and having salmon twice a week. The change wasn't overnight, but after a few months, something remarkable happened. One afternoon, while talking to her daughter, she recounted a detailed story from her childhood with perfect clarity. Her daughter was silent for a moment and then said, "Mom, you're back?" Brenda wasn't just remembering things again. She was sharper, quicker in conversation, and that heavy, persistent fog had finally started to lift. She felt like herself again. Brenda's story is a powerful testament that you can literally eat your way to a clearer mind. So, what does this look like for you? The Mind Diet is a hybrid of the Mediterranean and DASH diets, and its benefits for the brain are incredibly well researched. But you don't need to get lost in the details. Just start by making these 3 powerhouse foods a regular part of your life. Number 1, the brain berries, especially blueberries. Think of these as a daily power wash for your brain cells. Over our lifetime, our brain accumulates something called oxidative stress. You can think of it as a form of biological rust. The deep blue and purple pigments in blueberries are packed with powerful antioxidants that act as a protective shield, neutralizing that damaging rust and reducing inflammation. A cup a day is the gold standard, studied by researchers. The beautiful part, frozen blueberries are just as potent as fresh ones, making them an affordable, year-round option. Add them to your yogurt, oatmeal, a smoothie, or just enjoy a bowl on their own. Number 2, the perfect snack walnuts. There's a reason a walnut looks like a tiny brain. It's one of the best things for it. Walnuts are a top plant-based source of a specific type of omega-3 fatty acid called ALA. These healthy fats are critical building blocks for your brain cells, helping to create strong, flexible membranes so they can communicate effectively. All you need is a small handful, about a quarter of a cup each day. Try this. Identify your weakest snacking moment. Maybe it's that 3 p.m. slump when you reach for cookies. Replace the cookies with a small bag of walnuts. They're crunchy, satisfying, and you'll be directly feeding your brain. Number 3, the deep sea healer fatty fish. If walnuts are the bricks, the omega-3 seconds found in fatty fish are the mortar. Fish like salmon, mackerel, trout, and even canned sardines are rich in DHA and EPA, 2 types of omega-3 seconds that are superstars for brain health. They are essential for memory, focus, and overall processing speed. Aim for at least 2 servings a week, and it doesn't have to be complicated. A simple piece of salmon baked with lemon and dill, or a scoop of tuna salad in your sandwich for lunch. Even canned salmon is a fantastic, convenient, and budget-friendly way to get these crucial nutrients. Remember, food is not just fuel, it is information. Every bite you take is either feeding clarity or feeding the fog. This is the first, most important step. Get the foundation right, and everything else we're about to discuss will work 10 times better. Okay, so you've been to the grocery store. Your kitchen is stocked with brain-boosting blueberries, walnuts, and salmon. You are literally fueling your brain with the highest grade ingredients. Now, it's time to start the engine. That brings us to habit number 2, move your body. There's a brilliant doctor from Harvard Medical School named John Ratey, and he has a famous quote that I want you to remember. He calls exercise miracle grow for the brain. That's not an exaggeration. It is the biological reality. So what does this really mean for you? Think of it in 2 ways. First, movement is the brain's personal delivery service. When you get your heart rate up, you dramatically increase blood flow throughout your body, including to your brain. This rush of blood delivers all those wonderful nutrients from the food we just talked about, along with a crucial dose of oxygen, which your brain desperately needs to function at its best. But here's where the real magic happens. Physical activity also triggers the release of a powerful molecule called BDNF, which stands for brain-derived neurotrophic factor. That's a mouthful. So just think of it by its nickname, fertilizer for your neurons. BDNF helps your brain grow new brain cells, strengthen the connections between existing ones, and protects them from age-related decline. Now, when I say exercise, I need you to erase any image of you having to run a marathon or lift heavy weights at a crowded gym. The research is incredibly encouraging here. All you need is 20 to 30 minutes of brisk walking a day. And what is brisk? A good rule of thumb is to walk as if you are a little bit late for a doctor's appointment. You're not sprinting, but you're moving with purpose. If walking isn't for you, swimming, dancing, tai chi, or even a stationary bike work just as well. Every single step you take is a direct, tangible investment in your mental clarity. This leads us perfectly to habit number 3, challenge your mind, but do it correctly. This is where we revisit that myth about the crossword puzzle. It's not that puzzles are bad for you. They're not. But here's the problem. If you do the same type of puzzle from the same newspaper every single day, your brain gets incredibly good at that one puzzle. It becomes a routine, an automatic pilot. It's like going to the gym and only ever lifting the same 5-pound dumbbell. Eventually, you stop getting stronger. To build new neural pathways and truly fortify your mind against decline, your brain needs 2 things above all else: novelty and complexity. It needs to be pushed just outside its comfort zone. Let me tell you about George, a 7-8-year-old retired engineer from Texas. George's mind was built on logic and problem solving. But in retirement, he felt it all getting a little soft. He'd done thousands of crossword puzzles. On his daughter's recommendation, he decided to try something completely new, learning to play the ukulele by watching free lessons on YouTube. At first, it was clumsy. His fingers didn't cooperate. The chords sounded terrible. He was a total beginner, and it was frustrating. But he stuck with it. Within a few weeks, he could play a simple song. George told me the most amazing part wasn't just learning music. It was that his whole mind felt switched on again. He was more focused. His memory for other things improved. And he felt a sense of accomplishment he hadn't felt in years. He challenged his brain with something new and complex. And his brain responded by growing stronger. So, what does this look like for you? It means seeking out activities that make you feel like a beginner. Spend just 10 minutes a day learning a few words of Spanish or Italian on a free app like Duolingo. Watch a documentary on a subject you know nothing about, whether it's the cosmos or ancient history. Instead of your usual recipe, try a more complex one from a different culture this week. Listen to a podcast or an audiobook on a topic that challenges your current beliefs. The goal is to feel that little spark of effort, that moment of thinking, I don't know this. That feeling is the sound of your brain building a new connection. That is the feeling of your brain getting younger. You fueled your brain with the right foods. You've put it through its paces with physical movement and mental challenges. Now comes the part that most people neglect: recovery. A muscle doesn't grow stronger while you're lifting the weight. It grows stronger while it rests. The brain is no different. This brings us to habit number 4, prioritize deep sleep. I want you to stop thinking of sleep as just downtime or a blank space between your days. I want you to start thinking of it as your brain's dedicated, highly active nighttime cleaning crew all day long. As your brain works hard, it generates a lot of metabolic waste. Think of it as cellular trash. While you are in your deepest stages of sleep, a remarkable process kicks in. Your brain cells actually shrink slightly, allowing cerebral fluid to flow through and literally wash away this accumulated debris. And here's why this is critically important. One of the specific things this cleaning crew clears out is a toxic, sticky protein called amyloid plaque. That name might sound familiar because it is the hallmark protein strongly associated with the development of Alzheimer's disease. So every night that you get high quality, restorative sleep, you are actively running a defense system against one of the greatest fears of aging. Now, I know what many of you might be thinking. That's wonderful. But getting a solid 8 hours isn't as simple as it used to be. I hear you. And it's a common challenge, but you can dramatically improve the quality of your sleep by treating it with the respect it deserves. Here are 2 simple rules. Implement a digital sundown. At least 1 hour before bed. All screens must go off. Your phone, your tablet, your computer, the TV, the blue light from these devices tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime, suppressing the release of melatonin, your natural sleep hormone. Pick up a physical book instead. Create a sleep cave. Your bedroom should be for sleeping. Make it as cool, dark, and quiet as possible. These are ancient signals that tell your body and brain it's time for deep, restorative rest. Treat your sleep not as a luxury, but as the most important brain health appointment you have each day. And now, we've arrived at our 5th and final habit, the one I promised you at the very beginning, the one that is so often overlooked, yet may be the most crucial of all, the most powerful, protective, and scientifically backed habit for your long-term brain health is not a pill, a new food, or a complicated puzzle. It is meaningful social connection. I know it might sound too simple to be true, but the science is staggering. A landmark, multi-decade study from the Rush University Medical Center in Chicago followed thousands of older adults. They found that those who reported the highest levels of social engagement had a stunning 70% lower rate of cognitive decline compared to their more isolated peers. Let me repeat that 70%, that is a more powerful effect than anything else we've discussed. Let me tell you about Maria, the 1-year-old widow from Florida I mentioned earlier. After her husband passed, a profound loneliness set in. Her world had become her television, her mind. She said, felt like it was going gray. On a whim, her neighbor convinced her to join a local gardening club that met on Wednesdays. She didn't care much about plants, but she went. At first, she was quiet, but then she started talking, sharing stories about her late husband's prize-winning roses, laughing at a joke someone told, arguing good-naturedly about the best way to handle pests. After a month, her son called her and was amazed. She was sharp, witty, and engaged in a way he hadn't heard in years. It wasn't the gardening that saved her. It was the conversation, the connection. It was like someone had turned the color back on in her mind. Why? Because a real flowing conversation is one of the most complex things your brain can do. It's the ultimate workout. You have to listen, process information, access long-term memories, read facial expressions and tone of voice, and formulate a creative, relevant response, all in a fraction of a second. We are not wired to be alone. We are wired to connect. And it turns out that very connection is what keeps the wires in our brain firing at their absolute best. So there you have it. The 5 pillars of a stronger, sharper, more resilient brain. Let's bring it all together one more time. First, we learn to feed your brain, providing it with the essential high-quality building blocks it needs to thrive, like the antioxidants in blueberries, the omega-3 seconds in walnuts, and the power of fatty fish. Second, we committed to move your body, understanding that a simple daily brisk walk acts as your brain's personal delivery service for those nutrients and triggers the release of its own miracle grow. Third, we promised to challenge your mind correctly, seeking out novelty and complexity that force it to build new pathways, rather than just running on the same old familiar tracks. Fourth, we will prioritize deep sleep, respecting it as the brain's vital nighttime cleaning crew, diligently working to clear out the toxic debris that can lead to decline. And finally, number 5, we uncovered the ultimate brain booster, meaningful social connection, the full brain workout that protects our minds more powerfully than anything else. Now, looking at that list, it might feel like a lot. And the last thing I want is for you to click away from this video feeling overwhelmed. I want you to leave here feeling empowered and ready. So here's my challenge to you. Here is your action plan. I don't want you to try and do all 5 of these things tomorrow. Instead, I want you to embrace the power of one. Just pick one. That's it. For the next 7 days, I want you to commit to one small, manageable change. What will your one thing be? Will you add that handful of walnuts to your afternoon snack? Will you put your walking shoes by the door so you remember to take that 20-minute walk after lunch? Will you finally download that Duolingo app and learn your first 3 words in Spanish? Or will you pick up the phone and schedule a coffee date with a friend you haven't seen in months? One small, consistent step is infinitely more powerful than 5 ambitious plans that never happen. It builds momentum. It builds confidence. It proves to yourself that you are in control. You are not defined by your age, you are defined by your actions. Starting today, your best years are not behind you. Your sharpest thoughts, your most cherished memories can still be ahead of you. The science is clear on this. You have a profound and undeniable ability to influence the health and vitality of your own mind. The choice to act is yours. You are the gardener of your own mind. The habits we've talked about today are the water, the sunlight, and the nutrients. The work is gentle. It is consistent. And the blooms it produces clarity, confidence, and peace of mind are worth every single moment of effort. So I ask you one last time, and this is the most important part of our entire time together. What is your one thing? I want you to go down to the comments section right now and declare it to the world. Don't be shy. Writing it down makes it real. It creates a contract with yourself. Will it be the daily walk, the handful of walnuts, the phone call to a friend? Let me know. Your commitment will not only solidify your own resolve, but it will absolutely inspire someone else in this community who is reading it. And while you're down there, if you found even one piece of value, one nugget of hope in this video today, please do me a small favor and tap that like button. It's a simple, free way to tell YouTube that this message is important, helping it reach more people who may be feeling scared or alone in their struggle with brain fog. And as you think about your own journey, think of one person in your life, a spouse, a sibling, a dear friend from your community. Who else needs to hear this message of hope and empowerment? Please share this video with them. Let's look out for one another and build a community of strong, vibrant minds together. Finally, if you want more practical, science-backed guides, just like this one, designed to help you live your absolute best life, make sure you subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. We have so much more to share with you. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Remember, your health is a gift. Treat it with care, and it will carry you through a lifetime of beautiful moments. You've got this.